Jessica, so wonderful to see you. And this is leading up to the big one, the big fight, UFC 257 at the Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. How's the Abu Dhabi weather and how's Abu Dhabi treating you? Have you landed?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, so I don't know if you knew, but our flight got delayed by 2 days almost. So we were supposed to leave Friday, and then we didn't end up leaving till Saturday afternoon. So we got to quarantine still at the house and be in Las Vegas still, but it definitely changed like the quarantine times and how long we were out here. But I'm finally out of quarantine. I'm so glad to be out. I needed to get out of my room for a little bit. But yeah, we're done. We're and like I feel like fight week is officially starting.
Awesome. Jessica, just one fight in 2020. I know it's been an extraordinary year because of COVID, but then you've been dealing with a lot of injury and health issues. You want to tell us about how deep and dark 2020 the year has been? Lots of learnings, obviously.
God, it's so crazy because like everyone said that to me. They're like, "Man, you only fought once in 2020," and that's not like me. You know what I mean? Like I like to stay busy and especially since making my return to 25. But man, it was a really rough year. I found out I was dealing with a lot of health issues, a lot of lower intestinal issues, which ended up leading to me losing my gallbladder. And I didn't, I hadn't realized that I had had a dying gallbladder in my body for probably a couple of years now. They said at that point, by the time that we had recognized and the symptoms had gotten so bad that I couldn't manage them anymore, we were down to about 9% function, which your gallbladder is removed usually after 60% function. So at that point, I was just, dealing with a lot of poison from my body. What actually happens when your gallbladder stops working? So your gallbladders are part of your digestive system. So, a lot of people have known that like I'm very on it about making weight. I'm definitely a foodie, like I like to cook my own food. I came from a family that, raised a lot of their own farm foods. So, over the past year, my body stopped digesting foods, and I had naturally already been allergic to foods that I didn't know that I was allergic to. That by nature, because of the gallbladder and the issues, it all came to head after I fought Cynthia and after that last Miss Weight cut. That I was extremely sick and that we needed to get on it, right away.
You've also changed teams, and that must be pretty significant. Yeah.
Yeah, so I changed teams when I went to fight Valentina, and I can't even say I changed teams. Like I decided to do my own thing. Which so this time moving forward with this fight, like if people are gonna ask me what team I'm representing, it's the I team. I'm on Jessica I's team.
You want to talk about the coaches and support staff. You're going into UFC 257 at Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, and the camp leading up to it. It looked pretty intense on your Instagram feed.
Yeah, man, it was really awesome. So, since leaving Strong Style, which it was like my family, and unfortunately we had a breakup. That I think one day as a family we'll talk again eventually. But I found myself in the past year and really what I wanted to do, and especially being in Vegas and being with the UFC PI, they have been really great, and they were just as stumped with some of the health issues I was going with. They didn't know what was going on either. So our relationship now with the PI has grown so much since we found out what was wrong and how I'm able to help other fighters. But I think one of the coolest things that I got to do was I got to work with a brand new boxing guy, someone who had been on the money team for many, many years and worked with on many Mayweather camps. That I finally had to find someone who was a strict boxing guy, which I absolutely love. Like boxing is, my style first and foremost. So I found someone that was able to help me blend my boxing and my wrestling together. And I'm really excited to showcase that this fight.
The Indian spiritual way is that you learn more from loss than you can ever learn from winning. And losing to Cynthia and losing to Valentina, those two fights must have been really, really tough ones. But your takeaways from them.
Yeah, I've said this a couple times that me when I lost to Cynthia was the best thing that ever happened to me. I found out I was sick. I found out, I finally started addressing things because it had started back when I fought Valentina. It continued on to Viviani. and then even Cynthia. The best thing that ever happened to me was losing that fight. The worst thing that could ever happen to her is that she won that fight. So I've taken a lot of positive things in that regard from a loss. I think that most people don't see that losing again, can teach you a lot about yourself. And, I'm not out here, I've only lost to the champ in my eyes.
Sure. It's been a diverse career. I mean, almost a decade of fighting, going into your 14th. You want to just jog back your memory and talk about your greatest victory ever, something that you're really, really proud of all these years.
Oh man, my first UFC fight, you know what I mean? Like being Sarah Kaufman, a former, Strikeforce champ, up a weight class, that was incredible. But I have to say the one that wins it the most is my Leslie Smith fight when I busted off her ear. I think it was just the coolest like fan moment that I'd ever had with people. So that by far is definitely one of the most memorable ones in the UFC.
Well, I know that there's no love lost between the two of you, Joanne and you, but maybe when you bump into each other at the PI or locker room, do you guys exchange pleasantries at all? Just, curious.
So unfortunately, like she's completely changed up on me. Like I'm a very professional person. Like I like to build the fight. Like when I fought Valentina, the bulletproof thing was just a matter of making things fun for people. You know what I mean? Like nobody's bulletproof in this world. Like let's face it. You know what I mean? So I just want to entertain the fans in that regard. Did I think the outcome was going to come to that? No. You know what I mean? Do I think it'll happen again that way? No. But to come forward, with things like that is, I feel like I have a lot to showcase in this regard because Joanne or JoJo has kind of called me out in like ways that like really bother me because I feel like she's being somewhat of a hypocrite in that regard. And the worst thing that you could do is be a hypocrite because that means you never change. So in that regard, I've seen Valentina, we have shook hands, you know what I mean? She's gave me a hug, we're both like, hey, see you again one day. But JoJo, like, is just fake. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect you to be nice to me. I don't expect you to be mean to me. But one day you're nice to me, and then the next day, just because you choose to be mean, you choose to be mean, and then you create this, this beef or whatever it is. And if that's the case, let me know. I'll play along. But all she's doing is making up this fake beef that I had no idea existed.
Well, your time at the PI, in terms of the fact that the UFC really prides itself on the Performance Institute. So you're training there, even during your illness. Were they of help? Did they come through for you? Just your time there.
I Charles and Clint are the absolute most amazing people in the world. Bo Sandoval is my head trainer. He by far is like a father figure to me and in so many regards. It is so important. But I think everybody was kind of stumped since the day that I got to the PIA. I had said to them, I said, something's not right with my stomach. I keep feeling like there's water in there. There's something going on with my gut. And I had brought it up multiple times, multiple times. We had tried new diets, which led us into doing a keto diet, which really, really showcased that I had had a bad gallbladder. Because if to understand the gallbladder, your pancreas, your liver, they all work together to digest and filter your body. Your gallbladder specifically digests fats, the good fats and the bad fats. So basically creates like a lubrication and digestion and holds concentrated amount of bile so that when you eat, as soon as you eat, your body says, digest, let's get rid of it. Well, at that point, when I was eating, food was not digesting. It was actually fermenting in my stomach, which was causing full body inflammation. It was like I went from normally walking around at 138, 140, maybe 142 at the heaviest, to walking around at 150 plus and not understanding. Like I was eating all the foods they were saying, and then as the gallbladder continued to go bad, well, really after Cynthia, I was like, you guys, please help. I need help. Something's wrong with me, which landed me in the hospital in July, which then led to a month later with the PI and Dr. Davidson, the UFC's head doctor, that we came to the conclusion. And there's a specific test that you have to do, after we had ruled out cancer, colitis, Crohn's disease. My full diagnosis was irritable bowel syndrome, which is also known as IBS, with food allergy as well as a dead gallbladder. So, we first went by taking the gallbladder out. We took that out. That I instantly went to recovery mode with that, but I ended up getting staph infection in my stomach, which was absolutely terrible. So I ended up getting staph infection, which set me back a little bit, but also got me to go to the Cleveland Clinic back in Ohio, where I had met up with some other really high, profile doctors to find out everything we could. So then we had went there, and then I took all my information that I got, and then I went back to the UFC, and we've been working throughout things the entire time. And I wasn't even ready. I wouldn't say I wasn't ready, because I was absolutely ready to take a fight, because they asked me to take a fight in October, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And they're like, wait a minute, you just got surgery. So basically, your gallbladder is a part of your digestive system. So there's three different things that work together. You've got your gallbladder, your liver, and your pancreas. So all of them, and your kidneys and all that, they all do to something different, right? Someone said, "Hey, Jess, you don't need a gallbladder. That's why they took it out." That's not true. I was born with a gallbladder. I absolutely need it. I can live without it, but that doesn't mean without change. So, at any rate, you're basically your gallbladder. What your gallbladder does is it holds a concentrated amount of bile in its sac, in your gallbladder sac, so that when you eat, it's the first thing that happens. As soon as food touches your taste buds, how your body works, as soon as the taste buds go, says you're eating, release bile, start digestion. Let's break this food down so that we can start turning into fuel, and everything. Well, what was happening is that my gallbladder was completely dead. So it was at 9%. So at that point, there's no gallbladder, there's no bile being made, there's nothing coming out when digestion happens. So all that it would do is sit in my stomach or sit in my lower intestines and ferment. It would basically just poison me. On top of the gallbladder, the poison of the gallbladder not working, the overall inflammation of that. So the fact that that was going, it put so much other pressure on my pancreas, my liver. So it started sending my body into a full on, inflammation, and nothing was working. My eyesight was starting to go. I mean, during the weight cut, I was so sick. I had even said to Eric Nixick, who was helping me at the time, that I had said, I can't do this fight. Something is seriously wrong with me. Um, so to understand those pains and to understand them now, I think I've been dealing with digestive issues my whole life. And then, come to find out, I am highly allergic to eggs, dairy, um, and some vegetables. Surprisingly, I'm allergic to vegetables. So when a vegetable gets bit, right? So if it was in the wild and an animal bit it, it would release a toxin. So that's basically what happens to me. It actually poisons my body, which is crazy. Which makes sense. I feel like, fighters are the best liars. You know why? They lie about pain all the time,
Wow.
all the time. And I think I lied to myself for a long time, that, I here I sit right now, with you, and in Abu Dhabi, and just in this experience, that I feel like I'm 14 fights deep into the UFC, with my first one doing it actually the right way.
That that's really amazing. Your inspiration in the UFC, any athlete, even in the past, a fighter in the past or currently, and your inspiration in life. So I want you to name two personalities, one in UFC, one in life.
Are you mean referring to me?
Yeah, I'm referring to you. Anybody who's inspired you in the UFC and anybody who's inspired you in life, a personality.
Oh man, my biggest inspiration was my old coach, Marcus Marinelli. He did everything for me. You know what I mean? Like, he was the one. It's If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now in this moment. You know what I mean? And he will always be, like a father figure to me. No matter the arguments that we, face, but he will always be my biggest inspiration that, I'll ever have, outside of the UFC. Inside the UFC, Man, I tell you what, it has to go for Dana. And I don't know if that sounds cliche, but man, that guy's always came through for me. He comes through for the fighters. Like he really is down for the fighters. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't for that, you know what I mean, call it what it is with business. I mean, business is business. We all need to work, but at the same time, he keeps us employed. And there's so many people in the world that don't have jobs right now, and I'm so fortunate that I still have a job and I'm entertaining those, also who are working. So, be fortunate that we all have a job right now.
That's lovely. Is there a skill you picked up in quarantine? I mean, people are learning how to cook, people are learning new software. Is there something that you used? I mean, lots of times in lockdown, you're just home, not doing anything. So, did you use it constructively?
Yes, I do. Yes, I'm always like doing something new. One is I'm fully learning Spanish. So my best
Ah,
friend growing up was Puerto Rican. So like I can understand it, but I've never been able to speak it. So yo soy una mujer.
what does that
I am
mean?
a woman. So learning how to say some of the things and learning that is like really fun. And it was like teaching me, but what's kind of crazy is like it would take my mind away from fighting, and that like when I would come back to fighting, I was like excited to then be like, oh, I can't wait to go learn some more Spanish and like talk about it. So like made me excited to like do things properly and in that way. So that was one of them. But really my overall health, like learning that I call myself a vegan. I'm a meat vegan because basically most people go, vegan or vegetarian, but I'm
Yeah.
allergic to most vegetables. So basically, I can have a little bit of, meat proteins in fish, but I have to do everything else like a vegan. So like a lot of other like no dairy products, seeds and stuff like that. So like I really started to learn how to use new foods and new recipes. So that
Lovely.
would be my other thing.
Like they say, magicians and UFC fighters never tell. But I'm still going to ask this question. What's going to be your focus area in that fight against JoJo in terms of technique? Even if you can't give away all the secrets, let's just say, what are you going to be concentrating on as far as you're concerned?
Somebody once said to me that there's no secrets in MMA. They can find out anything that they want. They can find it out by watching, asking, or just pushing really, really hard to find out some information. So in that regard, I can't wait to put some hands on her. Not even because I want to hurt her, but because I love boxing and I found somebody that really inspired my hands again. And I want to put on a fight for people. I'm an entertainer naturally, so going in there, I can't wait to really showcase why I've got one of the highest punch counts, and I love to throw these hands.
That's lovely. Now, much as everybody loves you, and you've had a fantastic run, we're all your fans, and your love for Dana, he has been saying that he might have to cut some fighters. You're one of the older guards. I know you feel like a new person. I get the feeling that Jojo's going to find out that new person the hard way. But does that mean it's there in the back of your mind, or are you not even thinking about these things as you go into that fight?
No, because fighting isn't the only thing I'm going to do in my life. It's just one of the biggest things that I'm doing right now. And, what will be, what will it'll be. You know what I mean? And you're actually the second person that asked me that. So if I was like if I was going into spiritual mode, Jessica, right now, I'd be like, oh my God, he said it twice now. I need to be worried about this. There's somebody else that's brought this up to me. Maybe that's sending me some kind of omens, but it's not, because I have the choice and I can choose where that fight goes and how I take my future. And no matter how my future goes, I'm alive and breathing and I have my health. And that is most important. And that when it boils down to, we've lived in this COVID time that a lot of people lost their life, that the number one most important thing that you should take right now is our health. And I have my health and I'm fortunate for that. And because of that, I think that that's going to make me extra fierce. And I'll make sure I put my feet in the ground pretty hard that Dana won't be able to get rid of me.
That's a wonderful answer. You're so close to India and Abu Dhabi. I know these are not the right times to travel to any country, considering it's COVID and everybody's got to be in a bubble and things like that. But have you ever visited our wonderful country? And if not, do you plan to? What do you think of India?
I absolutely would love. I would love it. The farthest I've ever been was Singapore when I fought there. So that was really fun, and I got to be out there for a while. but actually here I wish I could stay, like I feel like it's unfair because I don't really get to do anything. Like I downloaded Zomato, right? So I could like look at all your restaurants and stuff. So I could like see all the food and like Googled everything. I'm like, I can see the amusement park from my room. I wish I could go. So I hope to come back one day. It's actually kind of, my brother is a huge Formula One racing guy. Like he loves
Ah,
Top Gear so much. Like we're talking the English one, right? We're not talking the American one. We're talking there. So he is so excited to watch the Formula One racing. Like he is so excited to be able to be a part of this, over these next couple of days. So that at least makes me happy that my brother is, super pumped about it. And hey, we'll come back whenever the world's back and open, and we can all enjoy this beautiful country together.
my last question is, what's on your phone? What kind of music do you listen to?
Oh
What are
my
you
God,
tripping
dude,
on?
I'm all over the place. So, and because I wanted to like identify with you guys, right? Like, because I already love Billie Eilish, right? But I really wanted to identify with you guys. So, like, I looked at what your top artists were, like who you guys liked, and like who was your big songs. And you guys like, Billy, you like Post Malone.
Yeah.
But I think I hope you guys like Tyler Childers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, good. So like I'm like, let's say my playlist will go from like Ariana Grande, Tyler Childers, Travis Scott, to maybe a little bit of Corn, to some opera music.
Wow. That is
I'm all
diverse.
over. But I feel like
Corn
that's
and,
so,
and opera
I'm
music.
all over, right? Because I feel like that's a fight and like that's the mood of it. You know what I mean? So some days you need to put the techno music on because you're a little tired from the workout. And then there's like other days where you're just like feeling myself, like I'm a girl, I'm bad. You know what I mean? I might put some Meg the Stallion on just to be like, I'm a bad, you know?
That is so awesome. Jessica Evil Eye, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and go win that one. Best of luck. And thank you for
Thank you
talking to
so
us.
much, man. It was
Cheers.
such a positive conversation. I feel like I've gotten some interaction with another human. So thank you. It was
Thank
great.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.